Today, we are going to let you listen in on a recent conversation we had about changing our cultural view of men who have erectile issues.
We are Belinda.
And Kevin Porter.
We are the sexagenarian sages.
We are here to bust the myths around sex and aging.
We are sex educators and coaches. As coaches, we are here to help you play your best game in and out of the bedroom.
We particularly like working with older couples, empty nesters, and retirees.
What we find is that these couples have been busy with careers, raising kids, volunteer work, and everything else, and they've let their erotic lives drift away.
And maybe they are dealing with things like menopause, erectile dissatisfaction, erectile dysfunction, and other age-related changes to their bodies.
But what they're really longing for is connection and, quite frankly, more sex and mutual satisfaction.
We know what that is like. We were there ourselves. And with the help of coaches, we turned it around and are having the best sex of our lives.
And we know how to help you have that as well. Contact us to learn more.
Bothers me the way some women discount men. They actually objectify men. It's almost as if, well, if a man can't get an erection, he's not worth my time. And there's so much talk about how men objectify women. This is one of the ways that women objectify men. And particularly the assumptions they make that if a man is older, he's not going to be able to have an erection. And first of all, there's this whole thing about their view of sex being penis and vagina, intercourse, orgasm. That's all that sex is that I want to address. But I also want to address the fact that they are objectifying men. And what's wrong with interacting with a man, whether or not he can satisfy you sexually or not? And our society is so tied up in any relationship between the opposite genders has to be about sex. And it's just something I see in so many women, that either they're looking at each man they meet as a potential partner, or they have a partner who maybe they aren't interested in sex, and suddenly they become less of a man because of that, and how that's got to affect the men.
Certainly men can feel completely emasculated by women if they are not able to have an erection.
Mm-hmm.
What good are they anymore?
Yep.
Men become afraid of trying to be intimate with a woman if they can't have an erection, and are often treated as though they are not what's the word I want to use for it? I don't want to say productive, but they aren't useful.
Man enough.
Yeah.
They're not man enough.
And I understand that your desire may be to have a partner with an erection and have penis and vagina sex.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. But that doesn't mean that a man who was unable to answer that particular desire is
Valueless.
valueless. And it gives you the opportunity to explore the vast smorgasbord of sex without it having to be penis and vagina sex.
And we've actually talked about that in one of our videos.
Mhm.
But what I'm looking at here is the mindset of the women, and how do I help them understand that their very mindset that men are there to please them, to meet their needs, is exactly what we've been complaining about men doing to women, by objectifying women. And it's no better when the women do it to the men than when the men do it to the women. People are people. Treat them as a person with their own thoughts, their own desires. Enjoy spending time with them without putting all these agendas on everything.
Compassion, empathy.
Yeah.
Mhm. Not judging them. Yep.
Yep. But yeah, one of the places where I see it most often is, it's because of the things I talk to women about. It's around the idea of whether or not a man can please them sexually. And they're stuck in this mindset of, I want a cock inside me. And if I can't have a cock inside me, then
Why should I have the man?
yeah, why should I have the man?
Yeah. It's so interesting because so much of the meme in our society is that women don't want sex.
Yeah.
And that men always do. And that's not true at all.
Yep.
And yet that's what we are told by our media and our culture, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
And women are perhaps at least, if not more, the sexual craving creatures in our species than the men are.
Yep. Yep. And I think part of it too is there's particularly when you're in a partnership. So once again, I'll use masculine, feminine here because that's what I run into most often. It's almost as if, and once again, this is the meme, is that the man expects the woman to have sex with him. And what I'm seeing is the woman expecting the man to always be the one to initiate. They want to be wanted, and I understand that. It feels good to be wanted. I get wanting to be wanted, but even more so, just because you're turned on doesn't mean your partner has to be turned on. And your partner may be willing to work towards an interaction with you, or maybe they're not. There's a great book out there, Not Always in the Mood, about men's arousal. And the real issue, though, is that the people who have the mindset that I've got to have sex, I've got to have sex, I've got to have sex, and that's all that's important. There's so much more to that, and their idea of sex is intercourse. There's so much more that can be enjoyed. There's so much more that can be. You don't develop a relationship strictly based on sex. Sex is a great part of the relationship. But I see too many women who think that that's the primary purpose of a relationship.
It certainly is the end all be all. If they can't have sex, then the relationship can't develop, can't grow, can't happen.
Yeah.
It's time to end it. That kind of crap.
Yeah.
Yep, sure.
So.
And we discuss the erotic blueprints a lot of the times. And the sexual blueprint is one of those blueprints. And yes, for them, sex is extremely important.
Yes.
But one of the shadows of that blueprint is that sex is all. It's the only thing.
And sex is intercourse.
in sex as intercourse. And so much is missed
along the way.
Along that journey to climax. And learning to experience and enjoy that build up to climax is an important aspect of sexuality that gets missed by those who are living in a sexual shadow. It keeps them from being able to fully enjoy their eroticism, puts them into a rut, and it can be a rut that you can get stuck in, and when it can't get fulfilled, you're unhappy and everything falls apart.
Well, I tried to make the point recently with someone I was speaking with who was concerned that somebody she was dating is older. And because he's older, he may not be able to have an erection. And I made tried to make the point with her that there are so many other ways to enjoy things. And it just kind of went right by her head. She apparently is a sexual who intercourse is the be all and end all. So maybe it's just as well if she doesn't date men. But I guess my real problem is she's making the assumption because somebody's older that they can't please her.
Yes, that's ageism.
It's ageism, and quite frankly, it's selfish. It's selfish to be making these judgments about people, about whether or not they can meet their needs before you even make them.
And that's one of the ways in which, particularly older men, but this can even happen to men in their 30s, 40s, as soon as they start having some difficulties having erections, which can be psychological or it can be physical. There are a lot of causes that may be involved, but as soon as that starts happening, fear comes up. I can't have an erection anymore. I'm useless. Women aren't going to want me. My sex life is over. Wham.
Yep.
I'm finished.
And then we get this dynamic where people are attracting exactly the people who can't meet them. And I feel like there is so much that we know around us, so much help that we can give people around us. But when I'm having a single conversation with a woman that is dealing with a partner who has erectile dysfunction or erectile dissatisfaction, either way, in a single conversation, how do I help her understand that her focus on his ability to meet her needs is part of the problem? And kind of the loss. Yeah.
They need to talk to us.
Yep.
These are things that they need to unravel and think about, and most people can't do it themselves.
No, they
It
can't.
takes some help.
And that's the offer that I left on the table for this person I was talking to was talk with us. We need to talk about this, but we have ideas, but you need to talk to us more about it.
Yep.
And hopefully they'll reach out.